Hello and a very warm welcome. Driver ratings for the Baku Grand Prix. All 20 drivers covered as we rate them out of 10 for their weekend. We saw Sergio Perez take victory and 6 points off his teammate in a title fight. Right, last time we did this, it caused a bit of controversy. Driver ratings is about opinions. I don't expect everyone to agree with my ratings, but we give a detailed reason why we give that mark. So it is what it is. Not everyone's going to agree with me. It would be pretty boring if everyone did. That's what it's all about. This sport's about opinions. Anyway, let's chatter more ratings. So let's jump into it. We'll start with Red Bull. Now, I'm going max 9. I was going to give him 8, but we'll stick with 9. Yeah, he had a solid weekend. Of course, he didn't win the race, so that's quite kind of disappointing, but yeah, a solid weekend. Got quite frosty with George Russell. I thought that was a bit of an overreaction, but yeah, he's in a fast car. And he was winning the race, and then the safety car didn't help him. But yeah, and I've got to agree with Max on the sprint race. He says scrap them, and I fully agree with him. Pull him in the bin. Not the best weekend for Max, but he still got a lot of points and still leads the title. 8 probably would be a better one, I think, but we'll stick with 9. Sergio Perez, 10. Yeah, what a weekend he had. I mean, if every race was round a street circuit, he'd probably be world champion, but unfortunately not. He wins the sprint race, and then he wins the main race. I mean, and he's only 6 points off in the title fight now. And on pure pace, he was catching Max and was managed to maintain the lead, so solid. Next, we jump into Ferrari. Charles Leclerc, 10. Another one who had a great weekend and seems to love the streets of Baku. He got pole in the sprint. Yeah, very strong. Yeah. He's had God over one lap. I mean, he got poles, couple of poles, but obviously they don't have the pace to win the race. But a positive for Charles, his first podium of the season. He's not had a great season so far, so a step in the right direction. Carlos Sainz, 5. Yeah, I thought he was very average this weekend, and that's being kind. 0.8 off Charles Leclerc. Didn't seem to get to grips with the Ferrari in the main race. Finished P5. So yeah, not great by Carlos. Next, we jump into Aston Martin. Fernando Alonso, 8. A solid job, but clearly Aston, this track wasn't suited to them. They've had so many podiums, and this is the first time Alonso's been off the podium, but still finishes a solid P4. Still big points. Lance Stroll's 7. Yeah, Aston Martin had a lot of DRS issues as well, so important to point that out. Stroll finished 7th in the main race. Aston Martin, they'll be hoping to go to the next venue and be back to normal. Jumping into Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton, 7. Now, I've got to give it credit where it's due. Yeah, he seemed to have the edge a bit on George this weekend. George had a good sprint, but in the main qualifying, P5. First time he out-qualified George. And then P6 in the race, decent. Yeah, Mercedes just not there at the minute, but he put some good moves on his teammate. George Russell, 5. Probably his highlight of the weekend was that big spat he had with Max post-race. And I like that about George. Fair play for sticking up for himself. Not scared of Max. Yeah, P11 in the main qualifying, a bit of a shock. But then in the sprint race, he got his elbows out on Max, and I like that. But a very average race by George, and that's why I give him 5. He only got 8th in the main race. Jumping into McLaren, Lando Norris. Where are we on my list? 8. Yeah, P7 in quali, much better. Gets into Q3. McLaren upgrades, finally showing us some pace. And then in the main race, Norris finishes P9. Oscar Piastri, 7. Yeah, he gets into Q3, again a positive. P10 in the sprint, P11 in the main race. And he's improving with every round. Piastri is one to look out for. Here we go into Alfa Romeo. And I've got to say, I'm disappointed with Alfa Romeo, given the season they had last season. Valtteri Bottas 4. Yeah, I've not been impressed with Bottas so far this season. I think 4 is actually generous. I may even change that to 3. For both of them, in fact. Are we going to work? Yeah, 3 there. I'm changing my mind with the Alfa Romeos. Yeah, I've just not been impressed. P18 in the main race. Where's their pace gone from last season? Guan Yu Zhou retired in the race. So, yeah, Aston Martin. Alfa Romeo, where's their pace from last season? This is a team that finished very high last season. Jumping into Alpine. Esteban Ocon 5. So, Ocon was running in the points. And then he had to do his mandatory tyre stop. And then very dangerous. As he comes into the pits, there's people in a live pit lane. The race is still going on. And you've got people moving around in the pit lane. Very dangerous. Wow. Gasly, 0. Wow, Gasly. Now, did he have a shit weekend or a shit weekend? Australia, he was fantastic. Baku, he was abysmal. He has a fire in practice 1, then he crashes in qualifying, and then in the main race he finishes P14. Shocking, terrible. Wow, really bad by Gasly. Right, jumping into Alphatari, 1'1", 9. Get up there, my boy. P8 in qualifying was my quali star. Then he had contact in the race with his teammate. But yeah, in the main race he gets 10th. Great weekend by 1'1" and a bit of a confidence boost. Yeah, I was fearful of him losing his seat, but jumping into Nick de Vries, 0. Wow, Nick de Vries will lose his seat if he continues to perform like he is. Probably already under pressure for his seat. Yes, we're only 4 races in, but we know how brutal they are. I mean, where do you start with Nick de Vries? He crashes, P20, and then in the race, you know, it's just a shocking weekend. He retires in the race. Yeah, just really bad by Nick de Vries. No excuses. I expected a lot more, and he's not delivering. Into the Haas boys, Kevin Magnussen, Nico Hulkenberg 3. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Haas this weekend. Seems just not fast. Hulkenberg had to start from the pit lane, finish 17th. Magnussen P13. Not great. Let's jump into Williams. Here we go with Williams. Albon 7. I think Albon's having a good season. Yeah, P9 in the sprint, P12 in the race. He's doing a good job. He's the number 1. Yeah, I've been impressed with Alex Albon. Fair play to him. Logan Sargent 4. Now, that might be a bit generous actually. I think the reason I give him 4 is because he got into Q2, which is a positive. He is a rookie, but yeah, P16 in the race. The races have not been a strong point for Logan Sargent. And maybe he is out of his depth in this sport. So we'll have the old countdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there we have it. Driver ratings for the Baku Grand Prix. Wow. Yeah. A weird weekend with this new sprint format. I agree with Max on that. Should definitely be put in the bin. But yeah, Perez, is he in this title fight? He's only 6 points behind Max. And yeah, there we have it. So the races will come thick and fast now. So yeah, that's good after a long break. Driver ratings divide opinions. Don't expect everyone to agree with me, but comment down below. Adios.